Hey, today we're going to do a flip through of my bullet journal and get it ready for the month of September. I recently moved back into a bullet journal after a 50-day streak with my traveler's notebooks, and I thought I would show you guys the setup that I ended up preferring over what I had in my annual book of my traveler's notebook. I am a heavy user of the indexer, and I've gone ahead and indexed all of my annual pages and the majority of the meaningful information that I've collected from August. I typically don't finish this, like most of this is annual book, like August starts down here, so I won't have a whole lot extra to add to this, but I do kind of reserve the weird half page and the first dotted page to use as an index if needed, just depending on where it is. But I've said this before, indexing for me is sort of a form of self-care. It helps me out in the future so much more than when I'm currently in a notebook, and I try and update it towards the end of the month. Next, we have my future log, and I opted to go with horizontal mini monthlies. I get about 3 months per 2-page spread, and I list birthdays, events, and appointments down below. This time around, I'm doing a little dot above the date if I have an event on that day, so it's a little bit easier for me to see at a glance. And these dots are printed on craft paper from online labels, but they're from my archiving sticker collection from my shop that launched on September 1st. I gave myself a Future Plus page again. This is where I track anything beyond my 6-month future log, and a next book is a collection of things that I want to do differently for my next bullet journal, next planner, whatever that is, so I don't lose those ideas. Then we move into my habit tracking. Habit tracking is a huge part of bullet journaling for me personally. It's also just a huge part of my system in general. This is what allows me to stay semi-organized. So I have a lot of habit trackers, I'm the first to admit it, but my adulting log is a must. This is sort of an Alistair method of monthly, quarterly cleaning tasks along with non-automated tasks that I need to take care of. My cycle tracker is a habit tracker from Peanuts Planner Co. I printed that out on sticker paper, and I've moved this from notebook to notebook, so it looks a little bit beat up, but it's better than having to replicate information. Next is my workout log, and in my previous journal I said for my next book I wanted to go back to my annual weekly layout. So for me, annual weekly means that I'm looking at my data Monday through Sunday versus 1 through 31 on a monthly annual view. Hopefully that makes sense. But I like this because I can start to see trends of days I'm more likely to work out versus others and things like that. My date log is where I write down the date nights that my husband and I go on, and call log is where I record quick conversations, just what we talked about with my best friend. They're fun to flip back on. This is my gift list / wish list, and this is an Alistair method again. So I've got sort of the core people that I purchase gifts for, and this first column is ideas for myself, and this is pretty handy, especially this time of year, because I'll be in this by the time we're buying Christmas gifts and things like that. Reading log is where I keep track of books and fan fiction that I really like. Debits is a check register that I use to keep track of things that get charged to incorrect accounts in our household finances, and I have a sticky note here for a running shopping list, and I just replace these when I run out of space on the sticky note. This is my spending / check register for my personal fund money. So it's date, money in or money out, my balance, a column for shipped, a column for received, and then a description. I have a Patreon log where I track creating the perks each month, along with some ideas for shop products, and a spending log for my shop as well. This, I'm trying something a little bit different. I was doing these monthly reviews in the back of my traveler's notebook. Let me just flip to it quick. At the end of each month, well, I did it once. At the end of July, I did like a recap spread with some doodling and just writing about the month as a whole, and I really like that, so I wanted to bring that into my bullet journal. I don't think I'll get more than 4 months in this notebook, so I just sort of split the page in two. So this will be August's review, will go in this first box, and I'll just kind of do these in the same space at the end of the month so I can look at them all in one go. And then we have my Stardew Valley reference section. Both of these images I found on Reddit. If you Google Reddit last day to plant Stardew Valley. You'll find this in Google Images, and this was Reddit Stardew Valley Community Center by season, and I just printed those out after resizing them in Canva, and I have a page for a log here because sometimes I like to leave notes for myself because I'm a very sporadic gamer. From there we move into the month of August, and in August I went for bigger boxes this time around. These are 4x4 squares and a running to-do list on the side. I really like this, and I think I want to go with this again for the month of September. I also use these dots to indicate the beginning of a month so that I can see it pretty quickly from the spine, and I got the dots from Daiso. These stickers are from my shop as well. I always like to do a mood board, so I printed that out on regular printer paper. Habit trackers, I went with mini monthly calendars this time around. This is my mood and gratitude log, so I just do a high level overall mood tracking and then one good thing about each day. This has been probably my favorite thing I've added to my bullet journal this year so far because I've been struggling, I guess, with mental health, to put it quite plainly, and this has been nice just to see that there are more highs than lows, although this month has been a pretty low month overall. There's been way more lows than highs, but that's okay. We're just tracking it. And then we move into my weekly spreads. I think this is the final form of my weeklies for a while. I've really enjoyed these. They are a week on one page. I have the dates for the days of the week across the top. There's a habit tracker and then a running to-do list down below, and let me just flip to this current one so you can kind of see. So I will soft schedule in things in here, or I'll just add things to the running list. So for example, I need to put a new screen protector on my phone. I have not soft scheduled that in. I know I want to do that this week. And when I come back, to set up my dailies, I'll reference this list and pull these items, put them on my daily log, and then I'll come back and kind of do like a master check off. So I will check things off as I work on them throughout the week on here. Like, so for example, I'm working on my Patreon perks for September, and I've done that a couple days in a row. In fact, I think I can log 2 more days. I've been taking my sweet time with those. So when I actually finish it, I'll do an X and then cross it off over here. But the reason I added this column is because it was becoming a bit challenging for me to see what was still an open task in terms of migrating to the next week. So it's a lot of little extra checking off, but I enjoy it, and it's been super functional for me this year, so I don't foresee myself changing it. And then after that, we moved into my daily logs. I set up my dailies the night before, and they're primarily a running to-do list when they start, but I will add doodles, notes, memories, ephemera, and sort of like micro journaling along with some rapid logging stuff throughout the day as I go. I will watercolor in here as well. As I mentioned, this paper holds up super well, and lately I've been adding stickers back into the lineup. I sprinkle in collections along with my daily logs. No big difference there. It's honestly the same as how I was using my passport bullet journal if you just saw that video, and the spread should look pretty similar because I've been replicating them between the two while I was kind of trying to figure out where I wanted to go for the month of September with my planning. But what I will say, since being back in here, I'm feeling way more willing to write things down. I think there's something about the traveler's notebook that I find to be a little bit precious in a way, and in here I'm not afraid to say, oh, I needed a list for that, let me just turn the page and do a spread. Like this, for example, this is my top picks from the Hobonichi 2024 preview, and I just printed out pictures and wrote a little bit about it. And this isn't something that I normally would have thought to do in my traveler's notebook bullet journal, at least maybe in a journal spread placeholder for an upcoming project here. And then my current daily log. So yeah, overall, really enjoying this, liking the bigger grid, really loving this paper again, loving how simple things are. There have been a couple times where I've like hesitantly reached for my traveler's notebooks again, but overall I just think that this right now is a better form for me for planning. Maybe the standard size might dabble back in as a journal because I'm still kind of testing that out, but I think planning wise I definitely am preferring this over my passport right now. Okay, so let's get into the September setup. I think what I want to do is, let me count out, so today is the 27th, so 28, 29, 30, 31 extra page, and then I think we'll get started about here. Okay, so for the month of September, I think I'm gonna keep my setup really similar. There's not much that I would want to change. I'm gonna start with my month on T page again because tabbing that off has been a lot better. I used to kind of start with this, but I think I prefer seeing my monthly spread. So we'll do a 2-page monthly spread again. I've not put together a vision board for this month, but I did print off one of my August perks that feels a little spookier, so I think I'm going to use that, and then I'll do a habit tracker. And then I did print off a habit tracker for September, so we'll just pop that in there and that'll save a little bit of time. Definitely want to bring over my mood and gratitude log again, and I also want to bring over, I think it's the spread. I did like a brain dump type of space for my content and shop content for the month, and I think I want to do similar again, and then if I want to draw out a spread I can, but for now I'm just going to do sort of like a brain dumping placeholder space. And then my week on one page, I don't think I'm going to change that either. So with all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and start putting pen to paper. Okay, so their first week has 3 days, so I'm gonna count in 1, 2, 3, 4, and draw my line, and then we're gonna go 4x4 again. And the nice thing about this notebook is if you go 4x4, it's an entire page, so it's a lot simpler to keep track of. Okay, plant, I love you, but you're gonna have to move a bit. So I didn't need that last square, but that's fine. I'll put a sticker in it. Okay, so then same thing here. Count in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then one thing I did is I added the week numbers to the right hand side, and I did like that, so I think I want to continue that again this month as well. So this is 35. And I kind of want to do the numbers at the bottom this month versus the top, just to do something slightly different. So I'm gonna go for it. I don't really do cover pages, so this is the closest I kind of get because I am lazy. And I used to fuss about getting those straight, but now I just put them on and eyeball it and live with it if it's crooked. Okay, so I did already think through my habits for this month, and I try to, at the end of each month, sit down, review my previous month's habits, think about my goals and what changes I want to make, because I love habit tracking, but I can kind of fall into a trap of just tracking to track, if that makes sense, versus actually looking at the data and making small adjustments each month. So this month I'm really honing in on like a morning and evening routine. This is number 154 from Peanuts Planner Co., by the way, and it's pocket size, printed on sticker paper. Okay, so now we do my mood log, which is super easy. So numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4 moods in a line. I kind of want to give myself a bit more space than I did this month though. Well, I mean, that worked. Yeah, I'm gonna give myself more space. Okay, so numbers, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, space, and a line. I'm using some stickers from Randy to track my moods. And I think I'm gonna add angry in this month because I have been angry. Let's see. Yep, okay. Angry / frustrated, I guess. Sad. Meh. Neutral. And happy. Okay, so let me make sure I get my weeks right. So week 35 I included as part of August because I get paid on the Wednesday, the 30th. So we will start on the 4th, which I like to work backwards. So I give myself 1 dot and then my last day of the week. So my last date is the 10th. So I will give myself 1 dot and then start counting. And I do the week number, a line, 5 habits, a line, and then my list. So this is week 36. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So after the 10th, it is the 17th, right? I can do math. Yep, okay. All right, that is it. I'm keeping it super simple this month. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I have a few more things I'll have to migrate over when it comes to appointments and stuff, but I just sort of rapid log them directly in. I'll add to this list throughout the month. I actually like just having the one piece here versus a vision board. I might do that again in the next month. We'll see. I'm hoping this habit tracker helps as well to kind of get more granular. I got a little bit, I don't want to say bored, but bored of doing it this way. I don't like how it looks ununiform, I guess is what it comes down to. My mood log for the month, my content brain dump, and my weekly spreads. And my daily logs will follow that. So hopefully that was helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. If you've made it this long, thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you soon.